It's hard to imagine the world, or even higher education, without the internet. Even though most of us use this technology daily, few people know how it came about. Early electronic computers, such as this IBM 704 mainframe circa 1954, were enormous. They frequently took up entire rooms and could only be programmed to do a few specific tasks. Because of their size and great cost, these computers were mainly used by the military, businesses, and a few fortunate universities. In the 1960s, the United States feared a nuclear attack from Russia that might knock out phone and telegraph lines, leaving the West Coast with no means of talking to the government. So the Department of Defense set out to create a means of communication that wasn't reliant on above-ground technologies like phone lines. Instead, it would use the university's large computers. The Internet was born from this project in 1969 and called ARPANET. The network connected 4 schools: UCLA, Stanford, UC Santa Barbara, and Utah. More schools were added as the technology spread. The first personal computers didn't emerge on the scene until the mid-1970s, like this Altair 8800 from 1975. Hobbyists bought this computer from a mail-order catalog and built it themselves. Its functionality was very limited. You could basically program the lights to flash in different patterns, and that's it. As personal computers were beginning to take off in the 1970s, Bill Gates and Paul Allen launched a company called Microsoft. They created software and operating systems to be run on personal computers, making them easier for non-computer scientists to use. But the Internet was still restricted to the military and academic communities at this point. It hadn't spread to the common public. In 1977, Apple introduced the Apple II computer, and this is credited as being the first usable personal computer. It was designed to look more like a home appliance, so that people would be less afraid of it and see it as something that they needed to use at home and not just restricted to work or a library. In 1991, a British computer scientist named Tim Berners-Lee created a computer language called HTML that allowed researchers from all over the world to look at the same documents and share what they were working on very quickly. This was the creation of the World Wide Web and the groundwork for the Internet to spread to everyone. After the World Wide Web was created, it was still mostly used by researchers because it was very text-heavy. There were very few pictures or anything else on it. So you were basically just looking at documents. So they needed to develop an easy interface that would allow users to access it. Mosaic was the first point-and-click web browser that allowed users to view pictures and text side by side. This was the precursor for things like Internet Explorer or Safari or Mozilla Firefox that we have today. In 2012, many of us access the Internet throughout our days on computers and tablets and even our phones. Many of us search for information using the largest search engine, Google, which averaged about 34,000 searches per second in 2010. Virtually all information is now just a few mouse clicks away thanks to the Internet.